Welcome back, everyone, to our 7-person free-for-all series, playing as Shinuyama in Dominions 4, and today I am again... Oh, this is turn 34, by the way, and I am joined by I Seen You Before. Welcome back.
Hello, thank you. Glad to be back.
We've had just an incredible discussion the last, what has been probably about an hour of talking through these things, right?
Yeah.
Really good discussion, though, about how we're planning to move forward right now. And I think that'll be very entertaining. This will be a very entertaining episode, I think. So in research, not to belabor the point any further, but we're just doing really well. We have done our usual ritual casting of Vine Ogre and Shura. And Fever Fens, back with a vengeance after the first failure. We have, in this one, finally a success. So I guess we'll show this one off. I'll let you comment this one if you want.
But, the funny thing is I haven't actually seen the battle before.
Well, then you'll just have to do it on the spot.
Yeah, I'm doing it on the spot, so it's kind of misfortunate. It looks pretty bad, since the fire elementals are not currently affected by the arrows that we're firing, flaming arrows. So that's why it's one counter to flaming arrows is you just have someone has fire. But our Shura is doing a pretty good job just holding on the elemental on his own, dealing water damage, which in fact deals bonus damage to all the fire elementals, thus leading them to their death. Moreover, the etherealness is not even gonna count since he's using a magical weapon. And long story short, the mages basically fell unconscious and will just get shot to death. And they're dead.
He's not dead yet, but he is.
But the guys are routing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's his fatigue. He can't even route.
He's unconscious. He's like, I need to run away, but they're unconscious on the ground.
He'd rather take a nap. So that's good. We finally took Fever Fens, which has the level 2 throne for us. We also were able to scout Agartha and Vanheim fighting. This one is not very interesting. It's just against the province defense. But it just gives us another vision of what Agartha is using. I don't know, the Marrows are pretty pathetic, but is there any surprises here or anything we can say about this?
Marrows are horrible. Do not recruit them under any situation. You will be very disappointed if you actually do.
What do you think it means, though, that Agartha is somehow using them?
He's probably just recruiting whatever he can find underwater to keep expanding underwater.
Okay. Even though, that might have been true. This might have been part of his underwater army. Which is now on land. But it already made its circuit. It already took Tifia. I gave him all this. Remember, we did negotiate back for Moon Sea, which is nice. So he only has 3 of these provinces, and I have 4. I feel good about that. So, but at least it's some kind of glimpse. I always like to get glimpses of Agartha, because Ulm lately has been raving about how Agartha is much more powerful than we think. So... okay. Any other messages we need to pay attention to? Blood slaves, not something we can really use. And troops in Florian are starving. Somebody left a really good message on one of my videos. This is prior to when Asphodel was conquered. Just reminding me of the Napoleon's, one of his quotes was, March divided, fight united. And I think that this is in order to avoid taxing your supply system too much. So we started to march united, but we're going to divide now so that we don't put as big of a strain on our supply. Because we did lose but a few more troops here became infected by disease because of lack of supply. So I guess the strategy here is move down to Saboria with Yukanaga, who can claim the throne. And we've already started building the fortress there, preemptively. Now, you have assured me that this Shura, Masasuke, can single-handedly take Setika.
Like, no problem.
That's amazing. Now, my only experience with the Shura to date is the first defeat at Fever Fens, and now, just this turn, the victory at Fever Fens, but against a much weakened force, so... this is going to be fantastic to see. I'm really looking forward to this. Let's see. What else do we need to talk about? Research, maybe? Good God. I didn't realize we had The last time I looked at this screen, it was before. Originally, we had planned to move all the Ubas into Gnome Peak because the army was not going to divide, but we'll have to actually go through the whole plan we've come up with in this long time discussing things. But first, wow, so it was at like 650 or something before, and now with all these Ubas staying, it's...
With 689, something like this, with all our Ubas staying, we're now boosted at 810, which is a good number.
And in alteration, we're just... Oops, I still have water selected. We're still just looking for soul...
Soul Vortex, exactly.
And now, go ahead.
We're basically gonna use the same strategy that we did inside the Shinuyama Let's Play.
Right, and I think I had that one linked, at least in one of the videos, or is it still linked in the series videos? I'm sure that it was linked on the Pretender creation video, just because I feel like this is very relevant. But if not, I mean, the channel, I Seen You Before's channel is linked, and it's definitely one of your playlists, right?
Yeah, basically, if you guys have the courage to filter through all the episodes, just try to look for the one where we mentioned Vine Ogre batteries, and you will be able to have a basic idea of what we're going to try to do as a little combo, so that the Goblin Shamans will be able to cast evocation spells without much trouble.
And by Goblin Shamans, you mean Goblin Sorcerers, right?
Yeah, the sorcerers, the fat guys, fat old guys, not the tiny guys.
We, just in our own banter, we almost never refer to these sorcerers as sorcerers. We always call them shamans. I think that's... I do it, yeah. I know.
I kind of do too, I don't know why.
Well, maybe you picked it up from me. And if so, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Okay, so let's see. What is, like, the big turn... I mean, the big talk this turn, I think, is just that we are supposed to negotiate a treaty with man. And your sentiments on this are very clear. You don't think that man deserves anything, right?
No.
I mean, what man wants Asphodel is essentially the problem here.
Which is not happening.
Which is not happening. I definitely agree. It's just an impossible situation for them to get that. But what can we give them to make them go away happy from the negotiations?
I don't know. Pastena, Bahamut, and all the woods.
Yeah, so this is what I've begun discussing. So basically, Man first, Olm and Man and I sent out a message, a diplomatic envoy to them saying, let's talk about how we should divide up Asphodel's territory. I want to be very upfront about all the diplomatic discussions, make them feel included. This is just good diplomat. I just want to be basically a good ally. Hopefully, good allies are rewarded and not backstabbed. We don't know. They could just still backstab us, take advantage of our niceness, but I don't think that'll happen. So I did that, and Olm immediately backed out saying, whatever you guys take is yours. Now, in some way, we already granted them Summerlands, which, is equidistant from Shinuyama. Actually, it's closer to Shinuyama than it is to Olm, I think. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for me, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's closer to... Summerlands is closer to me than it is to Olm. But I don't mind. I don't mind Summerlands giving it up. So Olm withdrew, but Man, just 2 turns or 1 turn ago, I forget, maybe it was just last turn, said that while Olm pulled out, we actually do want to discuss how to proceed with the division of Asphodel's territory. And they really have been pushing this idea that they want to go after Airmore. But in order to do so, they need Asphodel. I then countered with my kind of plan. Do you remember? I think I talked to you about this. I've seen you before about letting them pass because it's a palisade, so they won't take the province right away. Just putting my people on defense. I was just going to put my people on defense and let them move. They would siege the province for 1 turn, but then they'd move past. And I was saying you can take Valador, you can take Sedeca, you can take everything south of Saboria can be yours. Just go ahead and take all this territory and set up a new fort here, and then you can move after Airmore. And they declined this. Basically, it kind of revealed to me, I think, that they were really only interested in Asphodel.
Pretty much. We don't want to go to the expense of going to war with Ulm.
Say again, you're saying that we don't want to go to war with Olmo?
No, no. I mean, they don't want to go to war with Ermor. They just want
Right.
the fortress.
Yeah, I agree. I really agree. I think that that's the clutch. By the way, wait. Say something more. I want to make sure your mic is high enough.
Um.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. Let me bump up your sound just a bit, just in case, though.
Okay.
There we go. So that was the idea. Is they were trying to basically pilfer some territory for free, but we're not stupid people. We caught on. So even though I offered everything but Asphodel to him, that's when he said, "Okay, we want Asphodel though. We'll give you 12. What did he offer? 1,200 for it."
Yeah, 1,200.
Now this is where our discussion went.
Which
Asphodel
is
is
paid in 2 to 3 turns.
right. He said he would pay. He can't pay all 1,200 at the same time. He'll do it over a couple turns. And I immediately think that is just. It's almost offensive. It's so pathetic.
I found it pretty offensive.
It really is. Because money, we're getting to the point in this game where money, gold, is not the important item. It's becoming more and more about gems, which is surely what they're interested in. They can't be interested in income because Asphodel doesn't have an income. Money is just useless. It's just useless.
They have great death and nature gems.
Exactly. And that's the good thing that we have been lucky enough to receive. Those nature gems are basically allowing us to supply both our... I mean, it's able to keep our vine... what are these called? Vine something?
Vine shields, vine ogre factories going.
Yeah, both of these two. They cost 11. I think you can see that we don't even have nature gems up here anymore because we used every last nature gem this turn building those. So we're negative overall per turn.
And additionally, you can show people how many nature gems we get per turn by pressing F7.
We will do this. So we get 10 right now, and I think it's...
Yeah.
Is it 11 or 12 for total? Okay, it's 10. It's 10 for this, but we reduce it. Okay, yeah, exactly. So it's 11 because it's 3 for this, and it's 10 for this, but we get it reduced by 2 because of the Dwarven Hammer, right?
Yeah.
So we have a negative of 11 nature gems just tied up in vine shields and the ogres. Well, we really need these 6 gems.
Yeah, definitely. They're gonna help us kill everyone.
So it's impossible for us to give this up.
No way. No dice.
So okay, then what's the let's see. I sent Man a list of kind of getting into the legalese of it, saying let's talk about, before we talk about how to divide up the territory, let's talk about the criteria for how to divide up the territory. Like how do we choose who gets what? And my criteria was fourfold. First of all, we reward people for their achievements during the war itself, which means territorial conquests and army activity. And that is the primary one, in my opinion. Second of all, we distribute by land's proximity to each nation's homeland. So basically, if like Osmark or Saboria is closer to Shinuyama, or if Highwoods is closer to Man, even though I don't know if it is, these things, we lend some weight to territorial distribution based on what territory it's closer to. 3, distribution in order to establish strategic positions, for example, against future enemies. This is to kind of allow Man the point that if he wanted to be down here, that's kind of like his way of strategic positioning against Airmore. I left it number 3, and I don't think there's a convincing argument because I already offered this area to him, and he just... Go ahead.
That area is suicide. No one who's sane would ever take a plan like that, because it's a fort all alone with no reinforcement, with no other main armies coming from the capital. It's really far and attached, and a quick siege would pretty much destroy it.
Yeah.
So building a fort there is just giving the enemy a free fortress.
So what you're saying is essentially my idea to allow them to bypass without taking Asphodel was never viable to begin with.
Yeah, it's kind of like telling him to go, do something, but
Piss
won't
off.
won't help him, basically,
Okay. That's good
right?
to know. I mean, it's good for me to realize that I wasn't being clever there. I was just being maybe a bit offensive myself.
No, but same thing for him. If he does take that fortress, that doesn't mean he can go to war with Ermor. What he takes the fortress, then he's gonna tell you he needs Validor, he needs Sabora, and then what else?
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like he has any reasonable means of fighting Airmore.
Not only that, taking Asphodel only puts him at your border now, not
Well,
Ermor's
we will
border.
definitely, we will always be at. Yeah, right. I see your point. It doesn't help him get any closer to Airmore. He has to take a lot of this stuff. I agree.
Yeah.
But
If I were
it
him,
doesn't
I'd
make
just
sense either for him to have a single string of territories even down the coast. Like, let's say he asked for Asphodel, Valador, Seneca, Eldor, and then he said he'd move from Glimmering Fields in. It doesn't make sense to have such a shoestring connection to your home
yeah,
province.
and he does not. And let's say one day we go to war with man, we just take Highwoods, and all his provinces have been severed just there.
Exactly. I mean, he would have a fort somewhere down here, so I guess that's not true. We'd have to
Yeah.
pinch off other things, but it doesn't make sense, I think. So anyways, the idea was let's work with these three, and the fourth term was just kind of a thrown in there just to make the agreement seem nice. It's lastly, after all other considerations, equitable distribution among allies, which basically means that if we don't have anything else to go off of, we just divide things evenly. Just it sounds nice. I don't think it's actually realistic to do. Now,
Yeah, because you still build Elm of being attacked by Asphodel and invited men to kind of join in on. We did most of the work. I don't see any merit in giving any of the territory away.
yes, you have made your point very clear. In order to kind of make this point clear to man, we drew up this little map. This is the territory we've given to Asphodel. I forgot to put right here, this is Asphodel's capital. And now this is just the pre-war turn. This is the pre-war territory, basically. And this is based on turn 13. So I actually went back to the game in turn 13. I went back to look at the map then, and I drew this up so that we knew where Asphodel was at this point, where I was, and where man was. In this one, I think technically Ulm didn't own this territory here. It was already owned by Asphodel, but I'm still giving that to Ulm because it's obviously rightfully Ulm's because it's in their capital circle. Now, based on this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 provinces we can give to man right here. And not only that, but we have given them Postena, this one right here, which we originally owned, right? It was never discussed that Postena, at one point which was mine, I have let man have. So we can also make this point. We're giving them Postena, Bamat, Highwoods, Feralwoods, and Deep Forest, which is 5 territories. And all we're asking for in exchange is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The bottom parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5 to 6, and this is the point that you were making a lot. Who did more work in this fight? That's my question for you. Just so you can go off on your tirade about how man really didn't do anything and we did everything.
So basically, we destroyed Asphodel's starting army of Black Centaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Man got kicked by the secondary army of Black Centaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Man has not gone further than Feral Woods until the last 2 turns, where we already killed the last army of Asphodel and we took the capital.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been busy playing musical chairs with Elm, up to the point where even Elm is like, I have no claim on this, I didn't do much, I asked for help, so I'm just going to let them do what they want. So no, we're not giving him anything.
I agree. And you've really fired me up to write a good diplomatic response to man. I think it'll be pretty convincing. And that's probably the main thing we spent a lot of time discussing in this video. Leading up this video for this turn was just how do we respond to man's inquiry about taking Asphodel. So we're going to go ahead and offer them 300 gold. If they don't find that satisfactory, we're willing to go to as much as 400 gold in reparations for Asphodel. even though we don't need to, right? Maybe we don't even. Maybe we shouldn't even do that because maybe it makes us seem weak.
No, no, he offered you gold, and it kind of seems fair that you're offering him gold back. And
Okay.
otherwise, yeah, you asked him, right? It's like optionally you can have some gold, but we're not giving us feudal away. You can feel free to fight for it if you want.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Okay, this is good. This will be our response. Now, the other thing to note is that Saboria, we have started building a fortress, and we kind of have a plan moving forward right now, right?
Yeah, basically it's to solidify Erd and Saboria, capture a few thrones, secure them, and then basically we need to see where is our next enemy.
Yes. And I am also going to be moving the kappas we have from Sirmiak over to Sylvania. And I'm going to. Now, Ubas. I'm sorry. Kappas don't require. Well, Ubas also don't require very many resources. So the good news about the kappas is as long as we have an income, we can get a huge army of them very quickly. And this is going to be my way of protecting against Emerald Lake. If Vanheim, because Vanheim has reportedly built up a big army that is scouting Galad and Griffin Spires. If they take these two, they will have 5 more points, and that will put them at an Ascension victory. By the way, I seen you before. Do you know, is it the Ascension victory the moment you have all? Or is it take one turn?
As soon as you have all your points that same turn, you win.
Okay, so it is actually, if they claim Griffin Spire, the next turn, they win.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's successfully claimed.
yeah, they claim it. They say claim on the previous turn. At the beginning of the next turn, they've claimed it, so they just win that turn. There's not like a one period. There's not like a one turn.
No, no. What can happen is that let's say he ordered to claim it, then a battle happened and he lost the battle. Then the enemy took the province. Then he doesn't win.
Okay, got it. But it's not like there's any delay. Okay, so this is really
No,
important. Basically,
no.
as soon as we see one of these go, or if we know that Griffin Spire is going to be attacked, and I'm trying to get some scouts over there. I have one new scout moving that way, and we're going to shift our scouts so that we can always keep eyes on what Vanheim's up to. But this is probably Vanheim's gambit. So we're just going to have a large Kappa army ready to take Emerald Lake. Now, what is our position? We have now 3 thrones. We don't have them claimed, but we have Saboria, which is 2. I guess I can call them by their thrones. We have the Iron Throne at Saboria, 2. Fewer Fence is the Throne of Fire, which is 2. And we have the Throne of War. The Throne of War, which is 1. So we have 5 points. Unclaimed, but 5 points. This one is 2 as well, right? Emerald Lake? I don't remember if this is 2 or 1.
Not sure. I think it's a Throne of Water, which is a 2, I think.
Whoa, I'm looking at the wrong people. Yeah, Throne of Water could be. I mean, the Throne of Water doesn't have to be in the water, right?
Doesn't have to, but most of the time it is.
Okay, then it's probably the Throne of Water. Anyways, it's worth 2. So we have 5 points. We can get... Emerald Lake is very, very achievable for us. The only way we can claim it is by, getting this underwater breathing ring. Which is fine, we can do that. We can also, we're in striking distance of Scythia, which is another 1 or 2 point throne. So that puts us at like 8 or 9. So we need 3 more thrones, right? 1, 2, and then where does the last one come from? I don't know. It's so difficult. Our path to victory is so difficult. It's easy for us to get Scythia, and it's easy for us to get Emerald Lake, but I have no idea where the next one comes from. What, Junal Forest? Do we march into to take this one?
Yeah, probably.
I think that's the next best one. And Ulm is pretty weak, so they can't contest very well. Well, anyways, it's interesting to think about, but that was a lot of our discussion today was how do we react to... Most of it was about how do we react to man, setting up our Shuras. So our Shuras will be moving over. We have 2 flame and 1 other flame over here. Toru. He's moving to Shinuyama. So we're just shifting our flame Shuras west. And our frost ones, we're also trying to group up with the army. And we'll get to see this one next turn. Anything else? I might be missing something. You have carte blanche to talk about whatever you think we're missing.
I don't think we're missing anything at the moment. We just need to see how it goes, what man reacts with. We're getting our magic research. Our armies are getting stronger by the turn, so yeah, we're good.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We're also building a fortress in Fever Fens. So we're building a
Oh yeah,
fortress on both of these thrones
yeah,
this turn.
solidifying the throne, for instance. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. I mean, after that, we're in really, really good shape. So, and next turn we'll actually be claiming this, so we'll get more dominion over here. We can start getting a temple, all those things. So,
Yeah, and I think the Iron Throne also provides the Adept of Iron Order,
mm-hmm.
which is a great unit which has 2 Astral and 2 Earth, which permits us to finally break into Astral, which is great.
Yeah, we don't have any astral site searching right now.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Okay, well, if nothing else, then thank you so much for joining. This was a really exciting turn to do with you, and I think this was a really exciting episode because of the developments with the negotiations and stuff. I think that's really interesting. That maybe the viewers don't see it as much because it's done behind the scenes. It's not done, we don't show the messages back and forth on screen, but it's really probably one of the most exciting parts of this. Anyway, I guess that's it. So, thanks so much for I've Seen You Before joining me, and hopefully we'll see you for the next turn 35, which will be coming up next. So, thanks for watching, and until the next one, take care.